Yes guys, welcome back to the channel for a brand new video. Of course, there was no game week predictions last week because everyone was in FA Cup action. However, this week we are back to League 2 football and game week 15 of Sky Bet League 2 this weekend. Big shout out to James, will be today's guest for the predictions. Please make sure to smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. You know, we are pushing towards 4,000 subscribers and some very interesting League 2 fixtures this weekend. To the bottom and top of the table as well. Let's get straight into the video. Big shout out to James, as I said, for coming on, and let's get into some predictions.
Hello again. Obviously, if you watch the channel regularly, I'm James. I do the fan cams regularly on this channel. I'm back again for game week 15 predictions in League 2. So let's get into the first game, which is Harrogate against Morecambe.
Then the first game is Harrogate taking on Morecambe. Now, ignoring the FA Cup, the last League 2 game for Harrogate was a 1-0 defeat to Notts County, whilst Morecambe suffered a 5-2 defeat at home to Chesterfield. In terms of the league, Harrogate currently sitting in 17th place in League 2. Morecambe back to rock bottom on 7 points only from their first 14 games, only one win all season. I think this is going to be a straightforward game. I don't necessarily think Harrogate are amazing. I just think that Morecambe are that bad. And Harrogate, excuse me, have a decent record at home this season. I'm going to go Harrogate 1, Morecambe 0.
So first up then we have Harrogate against Morecambe. Both teams are struggling at the moment with only one win in their last 5. Harrogate are sat in 17th on 15 points after 14 games. And obviously Morecambe are at the bottom with 1 win out of 14 on 7 points. Harrogate are quite good at home. Morecambe ain't great away. So my prediction for this game is 1-0 Harrogate.
This game then is Salford City taking on Carlisle, not Chesterfield. Salford City got a very good 2-1 victory over Colchester, excuse me, 2 weekends ago, and also got a 2-2 draw in the following Tuesday against Fleetwood. So unbeaten in their last 2, taking on a Carlisle United side who lost their last league game at home to Cheltenham Town. Carlisle sitting in 23rd place at the moment, whilst Salford City, a bit of resurgence from the Ammies, up to 12th. I like to think Carlisle have a chance for my good mate Chris Welch, but with the way that Carlisle are playing at the moment, I just don't see any way in which they're going to get points at the moment. And, you know, they look all over the place. And Salford have had a really good surge in the last 3-4 games. I'm going to go Salford City 2, Carlisle United 0.
So our next game is Salford at home to Carlisle. Right now, Salford haven't lost in 5. Currently sat in 12th place, with their most recent game in League 2 being a 2-2 draw away at Fleetwood. Carlisle currently sat second bottom with only 8 points from 14 games, winning 2. Carlisle are struggling at the moment, so only Sunday is going one way. Salford 3, Carlisle 1.
AFC Wimbledon against Grimsby is a very, very good fixture. 13th place AFC Wimbledon taking on 10th place Grimsby Town in the first 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Grimsby's last result was a 3-1 home defeat to MK Dons, whilst AFC Wimbledon also suffered defeat in their last league game, losing 3-2 to Port Vale. I think there's goals in this. Both teams can score goals and both teams are very leaky at the back at times. I'm going to go for a Desmond in this one. AFC Wimbledon 2, Grimsby Town 2.
So moving on to the 3 o'clocks. First up, we've got Wimbledon at home to Grimsby. Obviously, Wimbledon's most recent game in the FA Cup was winning 2-0 away at MK Dons. And Grimsby's most recent game in the FA Cup was obviously losing 1-0 at home to Wealdstone. At the moment, they're both, Grimsby are on 21 points after 10 games, winning 7 and losing 7. And Wimbledon are currently sat in 13th place with 19 points, winning 6, drawing 1 and losing 4. But obviously Wimbledon, they've won all 5 home games. Grimsby very inconsistent. So my prediction for this game is Wimbledon 2, Grimsby 0.
Barrow against Colchester. Barrow currently sitting in 9th place, whilst Colchester United are sitting only 4 points above the drop in 21st. Last league game for both was for Barrow a 1-1 draw away at Bromley, whilst Colchester United, as I mentioned, lost 2-1 at home to Salford City. I expected Colchester to have a little bit of a surprise package this season, and they've not really lived up to that at all. I thought Barrow would struggle without Pete Wild. They've managed to, be there or thereabouts under the new regime of Stephen Clements. But I look at both teams and I think there's only one way this is going, and it is a home victory. I'm going to go for Barrow 2, Colchester United 0.
Next up then we've got Barrow at home to Colchester. Both teams at the moment, Barrow are sat in 9th place with 14. After 14 games, they got 21 points, winning 6, drawing 3 and losing 5. Colchester are currently sat in 21st place on 12 points, with 2 wins out of 13, 6 draws and 5 defeats. Both teams are not in good form at the moment. Barrow haven't won in 6 games. Colchester haven't won in 9. So my prediction for this game is going to be 1-1.
Cheltenham against Bromley is a very, very big game towards the bottom end of the table. 16th place Cheltenham taking on 18th place Bromley. Only 3 points separate the two teams in the league table. As I mentioned, Cheltenham got a very, very good win away at Carlisle. A must-win game that was for Michael Flynn's team, and they totally took advantage of that. Whilst their visitors for this game, Bromley got a very good draw at home to Bromley. Home to Barrow, sorry, they are Bromley. In terms of where I think this one's going to go, I do expect there to be an entertaining game, but I'm going to go 2-1 to the home side. Cheltenham on a bit of a resurgence at the moment under Michael Flynn. I'm going to go 2-1 to Cheltenham.
Next up then we've got Cheltenham versus Bromley. Cheltenham at the moment haven't lost in 6 games, winning their last 4 in a row. And Bromley have won 2 in their last 5, both away from home. We're winning their most recent game 4-3 away at Rochdale in the FA Cup, and obviously Cheltenham won away at Rotherham 3-1. Cheltenham are currently sat in 16th place with 17 points after 14 games, and Bromley are sat in 18th place on 14 points. But I only see this going one way. Cheltenham are very good at the moment, so my prediction is Cheltenham 3, Bromley 2.
Chesterfield taking on Accrington Stanley then. Chesterfield had a very good result in their last League 2 game, beating Morecambe 5-2 away from home, whilst Accrington Stanley got a very good 0-0 draw at home to high-flying League 2 side Walsall. If you look at the table, Accrington currently sitting in 20th place, whilst Chesterfield are into the playoffs in 6th and absolutely in fine form. I do see that form continuing. I don't see Accrington getting anything away from Chesterfield. I'm going to go for a 3-0 home victory.
Next up then we've got Chesterfield at home to Accrington Stanley. Chesterfield at the moment, obviously they played us recently, beat us 3-0, and they haven't lost in like 10 or 11 games. Accrington, very inconsistent, won 3 in a row, but then didn't win in 2, now they won their last 2. So, Accrington ain't very good away. Chesterfield are very good at the moment, and Chesterfield do score a lot of goals. So my prediction for this game is Accrington 1, Chesterfield 4.
Doncaster Rovers against Notts County. Again, another very, very good game. Probably one of the best games of the weekend. 4th place Doncaster taking on 3rd place Notts County. Again, I see there only being goals in this. Both teams have got incredible bagsmen, David McGoldrick, Billy Sharp, etc., etc. And I do see there being a lot of goals in this one. I'm going to side with the visitors, Notts County. I'm going to go Notts County to beat Doncaster Rovers 3-2. Doncaster Rovers 2, Notts County 3.
Next up then we've got Doncaster at home to Notts County. Third against fourth place, both on the same points. Notts County are above them on goal difference. Doncaster are very good at home, Notts County are very good away. Recent forms, Notts County haven't lost in 5, and obviously Doncaster have won 4 out of their last 5. Not losing, they haven't lost at home for a while since Chesterfield and Bromley, but that's when their only losses recently at home. But my prediction for this game is 2 very good teams. I think they'll cancel each other out. I'm going to go for a 2-2.
Game then, Fleetwood Town taking on Bradford City. Now, looking at this fixture, obviously Fleetwood did play on the Tuesday night after the last midweek fixture where they got a 2-2 draw at home to Salford. But before that, they came to Rodney Parade and got a 0-0 draw at Rodney Parade against us, which both teams were poor in that. We missed the penalty. Probably should have won it if we'd taken that penalty, but we didn't. In terms of Bradford City then, their last league game was a 2-1 home defeat to Doncaster Rovers at Valley Parade. Bradford sitting in 7th place in League 2, whilst Fleetwood sitting in 15th. Again, I fancy Bradford massively in this one, and I don't think they're going to go away from home at a tough place to go. Highbury and smash Fleetwood. I think it'll be a tight game where Bradford have the edge. I'm going to go Fleetwood 0, Bradford City 1.
Next up then we've got Fleetwood at home to Bradford. Right now Fleetwood haven't won in 5. Obviously they played us recently. Didn't look great, to be honest. Bradford have won 4 of their last 6. So Bradford are in very good form at the moment. Apart from the recent loss to Doncaster in the league. But Fleetwood are struggling at the moment. So my prediction is Fleetwood 0, Bradford 2.
Gillingham taking on Port Vale is a very interesting tie. Top of the table, Port Vale, they're clear of Walsall and Notts County and Doncaster by 4 points. Walsall do have a game in hand, whilst Gillingham sit in 11th place. Gillingham are in dreadful form. 5 defeats and a draw in their last 6. Totally just fell off a cliff. They were in the top 3. They were top of the league at one point, and they've just absolutely capitulated. And I do think that capitulation is going to continue, and I think that Port Vale are going to get an away victory. I'm going to go Gillingham 0, Port Vale 2.
Next up then, we've got Gillingham at home to Port Vale. Gillingham, obviously, they haven't won in over... They've lost 6 out of their last 6 out of their last 7 games. And a lot of them are at home. Obviously, we played them at home recently and they weren't great. Port Vale have won their last 5 in a row. Very good away from home. So I see this being Port Vale 3, Gillingham 0.
Next up then is MK Dons against struggling Swindon Town. Obviously, I know I'm not going to mention the FA Cup in all of these, but MK Dons did lose in the derby against AFC Wimbledon in the FA Cup. But their last league game was a 3-1 away victory against Grimsby Town, whilst Swindon, again, their last result was a 1-1 draw at home to Gillingham. MK Dons then are trying to push back into the playoffs, obviously losing semi-finalists last year in the playoffs. They're now 8th in the league, only a point off the playoffs, whilst they're struggling visitors, Swindon Town, 4 points above the drop, only 2 wins all season, conceded 20 goals minus 5 goal difference. Look, Swindon are in big trouble. The 2 wins all season is terrible. The draws Now, if they can start turning those draws into wins, they probably would be a lot higher in the table, but they're not, and that's the way that is. I'm going to go MK Dons 3, Swindon Town 0.
Next up then, we've got MK Dons at home to Swindon. Swindon are currently sat in 22nd place, only 4 points above the relegation zone, haven't won in 3. MK Dons, since Lindsay's come in, have picked up some good form and have won their last 3 in the league. So, and they're currently sat in 8th. So my only prediction for this game is MK Dons 4, Swindon 1.
Ultimate game then of Game Week 15 is Tranmere Rovers taking on Newport County. Last league game for Tranmere was a 3-1 away defeat to Crewe Alexandra, whilst our last league result was a 0-0 draw at home to Fleetwood. Tranmere Rovers currently sitting in 19th place, whilst Newport County sitting in 14th, only 3 points off the playoffs. As I keep saying, League 2 is so tight at this moment in the season. However, I do think that Newport County are going to go away from home to Tranmere Rovers and pick up a result. We just seem to have a decent record there. Alex Fisher scored there a couple of seasons ago. Charlie McNeil and was it Aaron Wildig scored last year at Tranmere, or 2 seasons ago at Tranmere. You know, we do have quite a decent record there. You know, we don't normally have a horror show at Tranmere. So I am going to go with Tranmere Rovers 0, Newport County 2. I think we're going to get the 3 points, and hopefully we do up the county.
Next up then, we've got us against Tranmere away. Obviously us at the moment, struggling a little bit. 4 defeats in 6. We obviously bottled the lead to Peterborough last week. But Tranmere, they're not great, to be honest. 4 defeats in their last 5. They don't score many, but I don't know. I'm going to go for a 0-0, to be honest. I think it's going to be got 0-0 written all over it. Very poor game, to be honest. This will be.
So then the final game of match day 15 is Walsall taking on Crewe Alexandra. I think this one is going to be a very interesting fixture. You know, Walsall currently sitting 2nd in the league, only 2nd behind Port Vale. They do have a game in hand on Port Vale as well, whilst Crewe Alexandra only 2 points off Walsall themselves in 5th. Again, just like Notts County Doncaster, I think this is going to be another game flooded with goals. I'm going to go for the home side. I'm going to go Walsall 3, Crewe Alexandra 1. I think there's goals galore in this one. And I think that the Saddlers take all 3 points at home to Crewe Alexandra.
And finally then, we've got Walsall at home to Crewe. Walsall are currently sat in 2nd place on 26 points. And Crewe are sat on 25 points. Both teams are very good. Apart from Crewe losing last with the Dagenham, they're both in very good form. So my final prediction for this game is going to be Walsall 2, Crewe 1. I think Walsall is too good for Crewe at home. Nathan Lowe's probably going to score like he always does. So that's my final prediction for this week. So yeah. So that's all my predictions done for this week. Obviously, thanks to Mike for getting me on the channel again. I like doing these because it gets me thinking about other games that's not just ours. So I'd happily do these most weeks, to be honest, because I do like doing them. So obviously, thanks for getting me on the channel. I'll see you in the Grimsby game for the fan cams. So that's all for me, up the county.
Guys, those are my predictions for Game Week 15. Massive shout out to James, of course, for jumping on and being the guest for Game Week 15. Big shout out to James. Please make sure to smash a like on the video. As always, guys, your support is absolutely incredible. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Thanks for watching. Up the county.